I think my age is the identity that will matter to me the most during the stay, because people who are younger tend to have lesser value opinions than the older members. So it's mostly the junior who have to agree to the opinions of the senior. So for the second question, I think that the cultural identity will matter the most, because since every member definitely has different cultures, we will do things differently, which is always influenced from our own different cultures. I look forward to how we coordinate between ourselves. For example, someone that has to definitely take the leader role and then gather everyone around to discuss matters, or something like who gets to use the toilet first. And the last question, I'm concerned about our different schedules, because we are from different courses and we might end up not getting to interact too much at all.
What of my identity do I think will matter most to me during the residence stay? Age identity matters most to me as I'm the eldest in the group, and I feel that I have a responsibility to ensure the well-being of my apartment mates. Which element of my identity do I think will most impact on my apartment group? My senior identity as a group member, as I may be called back to my camp anytime during the stay and might miss the time and interaction with the teammates. That might delay the group assignment project with my team members. What am I looking forward to regarding interaction with my flatmates? I'm always interested in cybersecurity from years back, and out of coincidence, my team is from the course that I'm always interested at, but didn't manage to get in. I have an interest on what they learn in their class. I'm looking forward to share with them more about it. What are my concerns regarding interaction with my teammates? My concerns are conflict that cause misunderstanding on our daily life, like who uses the toilet first in the morning, as most of us are rushing for morning classes and all of us didn't want to be late, or because we have a different perspective, as each of us has a distinct identity that makes us unique.
Hi, to answer the first question of which element of my identity that matters the most to me would be, I think, my race, because that's the first thing people will judge me on. So the second question, which element of your identity do you think will impact? It will be the most impactful. I think it will be age, because if you're all around the same age, right, it will be easier to interact as we have more things in common to talk about. What am I looking forward to regarding interaction with my flatmates would be to see how everyone probably works together to keep the apartment clean, or like sleeping schedule, waking up one another, make sure no one's late for school. What are my concerns? I would probably say cleanliness, because I don't think guys, when they are away from home, usually keep their stuff clean. So that's one thing I'm concerned about. Yeah, that's it.
Okay, so to answer the first question, I think that age identity matters the most to me, as being the same age as my flatmates will allow me to interact better with them, and we will have more things to share with each other. To answer the second question, I think that my racial and ethnic identity will impact my apartment group the most, as the way I live my everyday life might be different than theirs, and this might cause some conflict. To answer the third question, I look forward to seeing what unique personalities my flatmates have and their perspective on this project. And lastly, my main concern is that my personality and theirs do not match well, and this will lead to conflicts also. Thank you.
So for the first question of which elements of my identity do I think will matter most to me during my residential stay and why, for that my answer is actually culture, because the fact that due to the fact that we are all different people, so we all have different backgrounds, and we all be raised differently, so we all have different behaviors. So it will affect my experience throughout the stay. So for the second question, which elements of my identity do I think will most impact on my apartment group and why? So my answer would actually have to be race, because of the fact that most of my classmates and my flatmates are actually different races. So I might not be able to do certain activities with them, which I cannot mention. Third question is what am I looking forward to regarding interaction with my flatmates? So my answer is actually getting to know them, because I like to interact with people, with new people especially. So I'll get to know what their hobbies, what their activities that they like to do after school, etc. So last question, what are my concerns regarding the interaction with my flatmates? Basically, due to our time constraints, all of us have different schedules. Not all of us are the same course and class, so we can't really interact that often as much as I wanted to. So yeah, that's it.
I think my cultural identity is the most different from others during the residential stay because I do things differently, and my actions are influenced by my culture. And for the residential stay, personally, I feel that we didn't have any conflicts, even though we have different identities. And I think that we managed to interact and live together better than I expected, because we were able to live together without any conflicts, and we even managed to interact to a fair amount. Like we had enough time to talk a lot between each other. So that's why I feel like we had a good time during this residential stay.
Which element of my identity were most different from those of the other teammates in my group? My social identity is the most different because I have a different schedule than my other apartment mates. Also, most of them didn't serve their national service yet. I have to sleep early and wake up early to prepare things that needed when I'm called back to the camp. As my camp will call us back any time of the day, hence I need to sleep very early so that I can wake up on time. As I may get punished by my superior if I didn't report on time, that made interaction hard with them, as most of us have a different schedule. So which element of identity caused conflict among members of my team? My social identity, because most of members are very busy with their assignment and sleep very late. As I am a light sleeper like myself, will cause disturbance to my sleep and may wake up late the next morning. It will cause me problem if I didn't make it back to camp on time. How did I make it? We have a discussion on all the members understand my situation and allowed me to exchange a single room with my other group member and lower down their volume when discussing with their group about the assignment so that I can sleep better. I think communication is the most important thing to resolve a conflict that we have. Yeah, yes.
Okay, so the first question, which element of my identity was different from the rest of my group? I think race was one of them because in my dorm specifically, we are all different races. Chinese, Malay, Indian is a mix of all, and we all live different lifestyles. Like my Malay friend wake up early in the morning, 5:30 a.m. to pray. I usually wake up earlier so that I can get started a day early, and some people just wake up on time, right? So that's the difference. Which element of your identity caused conflict? I think it's the culture of the way we live, because my roommate is very messy, and sometimes the mess just gets too much for me to handle. So I gotta remind him to keep his stuff clean once in a while. So how do you manage? Yeah, I compromised with him. I told him, you want to keep it messy, yeah, but keep it to your side so that it doesn't interfere with my things, and then all our stuff get mixed up together. So in that way, he still can be messy, but doesn't affect everyone else. And keep his mess to his room. That's it.
For question 1, I think that my racial and ethnic identity was the most different because of how I live my life compared to theirs. For example, I usually wake up earlier than most of them, so when I do that, I might interrupt their sleep, and this might cause some conflicts. Question 2, there were no major conflicts amongst us, as we all got along quite well. The only conflict is that sometimes I use the toilet too long. And for question 3, I think that we managed really well, as we were able to interact with each other comfortably and do other things like have supper together and play games together.
So for the first question, which elements of my identity were most different from those of my other members in my group, I would have to say my hobby and my hobby culture, because of the fact that after school we actually have all different activities, so we don't really get to bond that much. But at the end of the day, we have spent some time together. So for my second question, which elements of my identity caused any conflict amongst my members or my other group mates? So I would say my religious identity, because of the fact that I have to wake up quite early in the morning to perform my prayers, and sometimes I would actually accidentally wake up my roommates, and then it would affect their sleep schedule because of the fact that they sleep kind of late. But at the end of the day, we actually came to a common understanding, a common ground, so that I won't disturb too much of his sleep and I would actually be able to perform my prayers. So for the last question is, how do we manage? So overall for the stay, I really like how we bonded together through activities like eating late at night and also playing games. So overall the performance was actually kind of good.